Ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence, and just let me give you a little bit of background so just people understand what is artificial intelligence, how we talked about it, and what are the aspects of artificial intelligence. Of course, artificial intelligence, we Arab take a pride of saying, the artificial intelligence bases are algorithms. The algorithms came up over 1,300 years ago by a professor called Muhammad al-Khwarizmi, who invented algorithms in the Arab world or Islamic at the time, but it was a mathematical equations that was used at the time for measuring distances, predicting the status of the universe, and that was without using a machine. The Americans tried in 1956 to put that algorithms into artificial intelligence through theories by a gentleman called Dr. John McCarthy. But again, he came against obstacles because the machines at the time were not so powerful like today. So they couldn't process these algorithms and put the data in it. And it went through different cycles over the past several years until we got to 70s, where the science fiction movies tried to be mimicked. And then it went through different stages that we call it the winter breaks of artificial intelligence 1 and 2 in 70s and 80s and by 90s, where everybody thought that let's put it into bed. But then there were a few incidents that moved it, and that was when Japanese, during the expo, produced the first robot, and it caught the eyes of the nations. And then when IBM Watson created another AI symbolic and defeated world chess champion Garry Kasparov in a competition where that was another machine beating human. And then few other phenomena, but they were all isolated and scattered around. It wasn't something called artificial intelligence lifestyle. Of course, artificial intelligence is all about mimicking human behaviors. Otherwise, why do we need the machine? So artificial intelligence try to mimic our memories by providing a vast capacity of storage everywhere that you cannot, me and you, store that in our brain. The artificial intelligence does the analysis in terms of microseconds, and then this is something that human will not be able to catch up. The predictions that artificial intelligence does based on the data. The data is, of course, is all to do with what we do with the machines. Without the data, without the structured or unstructured data, the big data that's available, we will be struggling to put the algorithms into perspectives. By the way, the amount of data that we will see in the next 3 years will reach to something like 19.2 zettabyte. And zettabyte, if you don't Google it, it's about 21 zeros. So that's how much data we're going to have around the world. And it will be even more because data statistics came before the ChatGPT and others, where we are generating now much more data because we're looking at the images and videos. And it's been produced and reproduced. So imagine how much of just graphics and videos and sound that we will have around, and what we're going to do with those. The nations in the future will be having superiority not on their natural resources, based on the capabilities of the people. It's based on the data. How much data a nation has that will provide them the upper hand over others, and what do you do with the data? And AI is there to make the differences. Of course, the AI, I don't have much time and I don't want to get to the technicals, but it has different branches like a machine learning and a deep learning, where in a simple terms, don't confuse AI with the technologies, or as people say, automations. That's technology and automations today are basics. Those are tools that human kind controls. So when you sit behind your keyboard and try to analyze the data, at the end of the day is you who review your Excel sheet or your Oracle system or others, and then make decisions based on that. Or you produce a report to your boss to do this. But with the artificial intelligence era, that human interaction and humans decision-making will gradually disappear, because you will have a more powerful tools that can make those decisions spontaneously, much faster, more efficient, more consistent, and based on a lot of data. And it does the predictions for periods and time where we don't have to do a reaction. And then this is more emotionless decisions, that rates of errors are very, very marginal. Now, in the recent month, AI has moved to another level, and it's called generative AI. And generative AI is of course, there are many branches to it, or many products. Now, many people know generative AI by one name, and that's ChatGPT. But ChatGPT from OpenAI is just one of many. And of course, that's moved to now ChatGPT version 4 and maybe 5 by another 2-3 months. That's not been announced. But there are other ones. You know, Google is going to bar, because Google is going to be dismantled. You no longer will be searching by words. You know, you don't go on Google and say, I want to know natural resources in West Africa, and you get 30,000 results. You know, what am I going to do with those? So I'm lucky to read the first 5. With the generative AI, you can build a conversation and ask specifics and get specific answers. Of course, as we generate, as we develop the data bank, we will be more producing benefits to the community. Because at the end of the day, what ChatGPT and others produce is based on the data that people produce, based on the researchers, based on the documents. There's a danger, of course. Today I was speaking with another conference, that because generative AI extracts data from the population and from what is in our hands, there is a possibility that you can influence it. So now, if me and Dr. Adiabi go and put few words, it will take hours and add to few other million people. But if I go and produce automated generation of data with millions of input to it, I can influence that. So tomorrow, if they say who's the most popular person in the world, I can bombard it with the data that says Dr. Jassim Haji, so I will be that person instead of somebody else. So that is an ethical part that many people or hackers try to do it. Even generation of the criminology or the hacking, you know, no longer you find people who are experts at doing the hacking. Today, with certain normal skills, any of us, I'm not by any chance encouraging that, but any of us can go in one of the generative AIs and learn as a layman how to do the hacking. And probably you'll get a set of codes that is written for you nicely, and all you have to do is copy paste it to hack another person. Of course, sometimes it's not that straightforward, but that is a possibility, because on the other side, ChatGPT, Bars, and Bings, and others, and DAL-E try to improve their efficiency and understand the people who are misusing it. Now, this is, of course, the negative part of it. That's why in Europe and other countries, they try to develop a set of standards and ethics around it. But sometimes the countries and societies take that too far. They take it too far, that the governance and the security and the ethics supersedes what they do. And then that's why they don't move forward a lot with all the respect, some of the European countries who are the leaders in technology are no longer there because they put too much boundaries around it. And instead of focusing on the innovation, they focus on how we shouldn't do this. And that's why we see other countries such as China and others are more dynamic in terms of moving up with these technologies. Even Mr. Samuel, who's the CEO of ChatGPT, or OpenAI, in fact, was taken to the Congress, and 7 or 9 congressmen, men or women, asking him on how to put the ethics, and he was, knowing that they don't have the tools to it, and he was agreeing to all they say, but inside him he's laughing and saying, well, okay, you give it a shot, and who's going to stop that? So the AI is there to stay, is there to grow. You can only delay the implementation by not being the leaders in it, and in months or years you'll be one of the followers. So I believe that the fear from that, fear from the job losses, fear from the disappearance of the control is genuine, but not important. And the countries has to probably lead in that area. I myself, with the group that we work here in Bahrain, in the Gulf and Middle East, continue to develop our own algorithms, something that meets our environment, because not all the AI solutions are fit for all. They don't, for instance, you acquire it from other parts of the world and implement it in Africa that will suit your environment. It has to be built by scientists, build your own scientists to develop it, to customize it to meet your requirements. So I was just going to say that it can be today applied to any industry that you can think of, from the agriculture, the gentleman before was speaking, or advanced industries, but mainly in the health sector and education. This is something that, so I'll leave if any questions, otherwise